Surprisingly, it's actually very easy to get your ex-boyfriend to want you back after a breakup. You don't have to beg, and you don't have to plead. The little-known trick all comes down to male psychology. The trick is to push his emotional hot buttons, triggers that are specific to only men. He'll literally come crawling back like a little puppy dog, begging for another chance. If you had that kind of power over your man, how sweet would that feel? This presentation will reveal to you secrets most women will never know about men. What exactly goes on inside a man's mind? How to push his emotional buttons so he comes crawling back to you. And specifically how to make him commit to you after you get him back. Now, this free presentation won't be up for long, so make sure you watch it all the way through. I'll start with a simple story that may sound familiar to you. I call it Beth's breakup. Beth hardly slept since her breakup 3 weeks ago. That empty feeling of nothing beside her kept Beth from falling asleep at night. And when she woke up in the morning, the sudden realization that he was gone came flooding over her. Every morning the same thing. She really felt this guy was the one. It was torture. In desperation, she finally came to me. I could tell she'd been crying but was covering it up, so with a grin on my face, I looked my friend straight in the eye and said, "Relax. I know exactly how you can get him back." You see, Beth came to me because of my unique expertise when it came to breakups. Me being a relationship coach for the better part of 7 years, I knew exactly what buttons she could press that would drive her boyfriend crazy. Triggers specific to men that would make her ex-boyfriend come back to her, on his knees, begging for her to take him back. Beth relaxed a bit after hearing my reassuring words and told me she could sense something was wrong for the past few weeks leading up to the breakup, but she didn't do anything about it. She could literally feel him slipping away from her. Little by little, he drifted further and further away, giving her less and less attention. She had no idea what to do. He stopped calling her as much. He stopped looking at her in the same way. He started openly flirting with other women. He no longer gave Beth the attention he did when they first started dating. This all went on for about 2 months, driving poor Beth crazy wondering why. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, he drops those 4 little words that made Beth's heart do somersaults. "We need to talk." When they went out for coffee, Beth was pretty nervous. She could sense what was coming. She knew they were having problems, but she never guessed it would come to this. And as he made small talk, Beth's heart continued to race. She tried her best to hold herself together, but it was no use. He kept saying things like, "I just need time apart. I need space. It's not you, it's me. Things just aren't the same anymore. We can still be friends." He even went on to blame Beth for the problems in the relationship, as if it was somehow all her fault. And after that, the rest is history. You already know how it ends because it literally just happened to you. And just like my friend Beth, you're going to need my help. So continue watching for my clever little solution. We'll get to that in just a sec. What if I told you you could easily take the pain of rejection that you're feeling right now and transfer it onto your ex-boyfriend? How quickly do you think he would come crawling back to you if he was the one feeling the kind of pain you are right now? Here's a simple truth. The main reason you want your ex-boyfriend back so badly is because he rejected you. It's human nature to want what you can't have, especially if you had that something and it was suddenly taken away from you. The solution is to completely reverse the rejection you're feeling right now. The solution I gave Beth and thousands before her were a few psychological tricks to push her ex's emotional hot buttons. Specific things she could say and do to make him feel like he was the one being rejected. Aha! All of a sudden, Beth's boyfriend began calling her to hang out. He actually started to behave the exact way he did at the very beginning of their relationship. You remember how things were at the beginning of your relationship, right? Back when he was chasing you? The good news is that men all behave in a very similar and predictable manner. And being a woman, I'm sure you probably already know that. By taking advantage of very specific male psychological hot buttons, you can gain an almost unfair advantage and cause your ex-boyfriend to want and desire you like never before. It's actually not even that hard if you know what specific emotional buttons to push. This is why trying to reason, use logic, argue, and saying I love you simply don't work, as I'm sure you've already figured out for yourself by now. In fact, it will only further push him away and trigger his push her away response. You see, the brain is divided into two sections, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Right now, you're too focused on speaking to his left brain, the part responsible for logic and reason, when you should be speaking to his right brain, the part responsible for love and feeling. Attraction and love are not logical. Just as you don't choose what type of man you're attracted to, he doesn't choose what type of woman he'll end up committing to. Push too many of the wrong buttons while in a relationship and he'll start getting scared and push you away. Push the right buttons and he'll lust for you, chase after you, and commit to you. This actually goes all the way back to our hunter-gatherer, caveman and cavewoman days. Men are literally genetically wired to respond to certain triggers or emotional hot buttons, as I like to call them. Okay, now I'm going to show you 3 keys to bypass his left thinking brain and cut directly to his right feeling brain. Key number 1 is reversing rejection. Right now, you're the one feeling rejected. But if you could make him feel the way you're feeling right now, he'll start pursuing you again. Just like he did when you first started dating. This is how you start fresh and recreate that excitement you both felt at the beginning. Key number 2 is understanding relationship patterns.